Wowie, wowie, wowie. Shout out to Darwin Nunez. I tried to tell you all, people. I tried to tell you all this weren't going to work out well because you were all setting him here. And it was all obvious. It weren't just me. Oh, James, you'll come good. Oh, James, this will happen. Now he's deleting friggin' Instagram posts because you all hate him. You all hate him. The same people who was having a go at me, oh my goodness, James, you hate Darwin Nunez, is the exact same people abusing him, making him delete Instagram posts. And by the way, abuse is not funny. But come on, guys, like, I tried to tell you, and I was getting rat shits abused. I should have deleted my YouTube channel at the time. I was there telling you all that I don't think Darwin Nunez is going to be quite good enough to win league titles, and I was being called abusive. And now you rats are going on his platform, even though he has limited comments, and you're abusing him. Who do you think you are? Seriously. Oh. But this is the problem about setting a player's expectations here, but they're actually just more around here. And then the disappointment comes when you realise this is never going to come. It's like when you're in that relationship and you think that you're here with someone who's here, but really you're with someone who's here. She's a little bit weird. You learn a few things and this, that and the other. We've all been there, you know what I mean? Maybe we haven't, who knows? But I feel like we've all been there at some point with a woman or a man or, you know, whatever gender you are and whatever way you think. And we've done too much talk about gender and swinging left, right. So we'll stay on the course. Darwin Nunez has deleted all of his pictures off of Instagram, which that are Liverpool related. Let me make that clear. So he hasn't deleted all of his photos off of Instagram. He's deleted all of his Liverpool FC photos. So any photo that he's wearing a Liverpool kit on is deleted. Now, I've still noticed his profile photo is him in a red shirt, but it's only got his number and name. Nothing to do with Liverpool visibly. And then also he's got photo of him and Liverpool players. I think it was the day that they got a fish, or there's the meme where Darwin Nunez got a fish. By the way, I don't even think he did get a fish. It was just by the lake where he was holding one. It might have been an edited photo. Either way, that's still up there. And then there's one of Darwin in training, but again with no Liverpool-related gear. Now, the reason why is because he came on against Tottenham, done what Darwin Nunez always does, looks chaotic, which is what he was getting praised for before, but now it's really annoying to the fans. And I said this to you, I said, you won't accept this much longer. There was a point in time where you was happy that we got Diogo Jota above Timo Werner, and when I told you that Timo Werner is a German Darwin Nunez, or Darwin Nunez is a Uruguayan Timo Werner, I was getting called a hateful bastard. Well, now we're getting to a point where I'm sure some people have probably taken animally messing. I'm sure people won't take Werner over Nunez. We can't go too far, but we do now have to accept a few things, right? Darwin Nunez is kind of what I said he was. He could get 20 goals a season, even though he has yet to score 20 goals in the Premier League, but I believe he's capable of getting 20 goals a season, but he's just not a league-winning level striker. Now, what does that mean? The only way Darwin Nunez wins a league is if he's in a team which is so amazing. Like, he'd have to be in Manchester City to win the league. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Liverpool, we need the striker to go and win us league titles or even achieve what we do in the past. Even if it's a second place finish, do you think Liverpool have always relied on a world-class number 9? And I could name you 6 or 7, possibly more, number 9s better than Darwin Nunez. I will give you Daniel Sturridge, I will give you Luis Suarez, I will give you Fernando Torres, I will give you Michael Owen, I will give you Robbie Fowler, I will give you... There's got to be other names. There's got to be other names, surely. There's definitely more than 5 names better than Darwin Nunez. Bobby Firmino, how dare I? Darwin Nunez is not going to be an elite Liverpool striker. This is something I've always tried to make clear. But does it mean that he's not good? No, he is good. He's a very good striker. He's good for a Europa League team, like he's proven in the Europa League, or he's good for a top 4 contending team, like he's been with us, because in the time we've had Darwin Nunez, we finished no higher than 3rd. Well, we're still yet to officially finish there, but that's where we're likely to finish. So he's a good top 4 striker. He's just not a league-winning striker. And now that I'm seeing the one moment where he's not favoured at the club, he's not getting starts, he's not favoured by the fans. This is the first time in Darwin Nunez' career where he's not being bummed by the fans. This is the first time in Darwin Nunez' career where the fans are giving him some criticism. Darwin Nunez is showing signs that he can't handle it. He's showing signs he can't handle it. And now I'm going to lead into my next point, that I'm a bit disappointed he's deleted all these photos, because it's all good and well sending a message to your haters, even though I swear he had limited comments posted. Quote unquote haters, but then completely disregarding the millions and millions of Liverpool fans who unconditionally and undeservedly gave that man support. I said this all the time. I said, how has Darwin Nunez got this cult-like following already? How has it already happened? What's he done to warrant it besides have a man bun and run around the pitch? And by the way, this isn't hate on Darwin Nunez. I understand, mental struggles can most certainly be a thing. I go through mental struggles, but to delete all these photos, it's one, disrespectful, because you're publicly making a sign that you are not happy with the football club. You haven't been good enough since you've signed. You've been given way more opportunities than I would have given you. And you've got a cult-like following which will change if you score a goal in your next game. If you just score a goal in your next match, Darwin Nunez, you will get the utmost respect, and I'll be getting told that I was wrong again. So Nunez, if you just do your job, all these things you don't like doesn't arrive. That's what you've got to realise, son. You are at one of the biggest clubs in the world. I'd argue, top 5 biggest clubs in the world, top 4 biggest clubs in the world. And you're sitting there getting fuming because you can't handle a few comments, and therefore your result of that is disregarding your whole football club. Right, fuck the badge. I don't want to be associated with this badge if this is the way the fans are speaking to me. Well, what about the millions of fans who have supported you unconditionally without deserving it? Do you know what I mean? You haven't won a league with us. You haven't won a major trophy. In fact, you've cost us a league, arguably, with the amount of chances that you've missed this season from start to finish. But we've still supported you. And when you were doing well, you were getting praise. What's the difference, Darwin? You're not doing well. And people will then say, oh, no, but you can't abuse the players. No, you can't abuse the players. You can't abuse anyone. It's not nice and you shouldn't do it. But, for instance, if I do a video which I've not performed well on, say if I've done a video and I've just made absolutely ridiculous footballing statements, then I'm going to get called out in the comments. James, how dare you just make ridiculous football statements? I'm going to get abused. It's either up to me to accept that as abuse or to accept that as criticism, and I'm not doing my job. And it's very hard for me to accept the idea of our main number 9 completely disregarding the LFC crest now just because a few kids on Instagram have sent him a horrible message. It's quite disrespectful, to be honest. I do sympathise with him, and I hope he's all right, by the way. He's only young, Darwin. He's only 24, you know what I mean? But I'd like to hope you have a certain level of maturity to where you'd be able to not completely disregard the badge and the club, despite a few poor fans who've maybe said a few things. And I would definitely predict a lot of these comments have been probably rather critical. Your finishing's not that good. You are a striker and you can't finish. It's going to happen, lad. And if I was his coach, I'm not saying that the people criticising him are okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what we sign up for, brother. Public eye type stuff. This is about the modern day world where if you decide to agree to your life being on a public platform, the same way I've done, the same way you've done, then unfortunately be open to a little bit of criticism. Not everyone's going to like you. And we're looking at Darwin Nunez, you, for goals. Darwin, if you score some goals, we're not going to have a go. And we are still supporting you. Just because there's a few bad comments doesn't mean the club doesn't back you. I've never heard a player, or I don't hear a player in the current squad get a cheer when he comes on the pitch more than you. So is that not support? I don't see as much defence for legends of this football club than what I do for you online. Basically what I'm leading to is it's not that bad. And for him to have deleted Instagram photos, purely Liverpool based, not all of his photos, Liverpool photos, like as if he's Jadon Sancho, please don't do that again, because I will get to a point where I don't want you at this football club. And even though I didn't want you here anyway, because with that type of club, we're going to accept anyone who walks through the door. It's just do your job, which you haven't been doing. You have 11 Premier League goals this season. You have done really well in Europa League. And granted, you have actually quite a really impressive European record. Like even in Champions League, Darwin Nunez does. He scored against us, he scored against Madrid, he scored against some big teams. But you have not proven your worth. You have not proven to be a league-winning striker. You have proven that you bottle it in the highest pressure moments. Even when it's an easy finish. You will miss open goals. You will miss world-class goals. You will miss headers. And to be fair, he's good at headers. But I just want Darwin Nunez to focus on what's important. I don't want Darwin Nunez to be scrolling on Instagram, spending at least half an hour of his time, which he could be focusing on actually getting some rest in, and deleting photos specifically to do with Liverpool. And the more I speak about it, I get a little bit more outraged, to be honest, because I just think, like, I get the mental health side of things. And by the way, I do hope Darwin Nunez is all right. You know, life is tough, life is hard, and it's hard to receive criticism. But don't be completely disregarding everything the club's done for you, Darwin. Don't forget that. Because there can be certain, you know, South American players who feel entitled in some sort of way. I just hope Darwin Nunez isn't one of those players. And if he is one of those players, you can politely fuck off out of my team. Because Bobby Firmino wasn't one of those players. And that's who you're replacing. You're either replacing him or you're replacing Mane. And both of them gave a fuck. And I believe Darwin gives a fuck. But let's not start trying to twist it onto the fans and turning your back on the fans. Everyone's saying the fans shouldn't turn their back on Darwin. Well, Darwin's just basically done that to the fans. He's stuck with Uruguay, he's stuck with his home nation, but he's forgot his club. Delete that. And you've just then displayed a public sign of, fuck them, fuck them. That is disrespectful. And if I'm Darwin Nunez, I'm putting an apology out there, and I'm also putting the posts back up because it's childish, it's poor, and it shows you can't react in adversity, which is a huge problematic issue. And for Liverpool standards, you'd like to hope someone in that number 9 role would be able to handle this thing. But like I said, I don't want this one thing, this one mini thing to be, oh, let's all hate Darwin Nunez. I've always accepted him for what he is, and I actually ended up loving him because I knew what he was. I love Darwin Nunez because he's funny, because he's amazing, because he's chaos. But I also know he's a bad finisher. He's not a league-winning striker. He'd need an absolute elite team around him for him to be considered a league winner. I promise. And I actually believe Darwin brings great value to the squad. Maybe not value for money, but I think he can be a great bench option. I think he can be great off the bench. But I don't think he wants the bench. And I think that's where the conflict comes, and that's where I'll sit there and say, well, off of that, because I wouldn't start him, I'd rather start Jota or Gakpo. And then you consider that, and it's also because I think he's just better off the bench anyway. I don't want him being the outlet. I don't want him receiving the majority of the chances. Because if we're going to create this many chances, I want it to go to someone who's actually clinical. Not Darwin Nunez. So, I want Darwin Nunez to really reflect on this and not turn your back on the fans. That's the worst thing you can do when you're going through a bad patch. Worst thing. Fix yourself, apologise, and this is all done straight away. But even already online, I'm seeing like, oh, mental health is really important. Of course it is, but do you think if Darwin Nunez was to miss constant sitters throughout a World Cup, Uruguay fans wouldn't get on his back and be a little bit critical? Let's just call a spade a spade. If you think I was to do a video and I was to say, Lionel Messi is signed for Liverpool, 5-year deal agreed, and he's going to be replacing Mo Salah, who's going to be joining Morecambe. Mo Salah joins Morecambe, Lionel Messi joins Liverpool, 5-year deal. Don't you think it's right that I get a bit of criticism in my comments saying, James, you've just clickbaited us, you've just mentioned 2 incorrect stories, and you're leaving this video up to get monetization from it for lies? Isn't that a problem? Isn't that a problem? Like, doesn't James deserve criticism off that? I think I would. It's not really me doing my job, is it? I'm just doing nonsense at that point. So yeah, like maybe, okay, don't call me abusive words, but certainly come out on the line and go, James, are you alright? Like, why are you doing videos like this for? It's the exact same way, like with Darwin Nunez. Like, are you alright just taking photos down because a small section of the fan base might have upset you? Because I tell you now, if you were doing the same for your country as what you were doing for us, they'd say something. They would say something. So I don't want this to be a Darwin Nunez hate video. Love Darwin Nunez, and I've always said I love him more than you, because you thought he was going to be the dog's bollocks. I always told you what he was, and now it's completely backfired, and there's even more fans. And I said this, if you watch my live streams, this is the last thing I'll say. I said this time ago. I said, what's going to happen? Everyone's going to realise he's not good enough, and then they're going to hate him even more. And that's why at the time I was saying the things I was saying, because now people do hate Darwin Nunez even more, and it's because they expected him to be this. And they think what people think is Darwin Nunez doesn't try to score. Darwin tries to score. He tries more than anyone I've ever fucking seen. He just can't do it. He's not capable. It's like Hugh Hefner without the Viagra. Hugh Hefner without the Viagra. He's just an old dude with low testosterone, and it is what it is. He can't shag his bitches, and it is what it is. But then if you get Hugh Hefner on some Viagra, then boom. Now we're efficient. Now we're effective. And unfortunately, we can't give Nunez any Viagra. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this video will go to weird places if I continue it. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I had to do a video on it. I wanted to, and I hope Darwin's alright, I really do. But I really, really would consider fixing this, reposting, and probably even apologising to the Liverpool fans, as I do think doing something publicly like that is quite disrespectful, and it's a very Man United thing to do. So let's not do that again in future, thank you. Anyway, ta-ra.